Ladies and gentlemen, this is called The Issues. And what we're going to do here is we're going to run down a bunch of issues that are in the news, politics, and such. But right now, um, I'll talk to you about some of the books that I have out. The Nibble Next, as you can see, um, talks about the Russian hitman that came to Jacksonville. Also got another book out here, Code Name Lionfish. Code Name Lionfish talks about a Chinese spy that they caught at the military base here. And this is one of my newer books right here. The Black Hand Act 2, The Child in the Storm. Basically, part one was about a tennis pro that allegedly doubles as an assassin for the KGB. Um, this is a really good book. If you get a chance to check it out. And right now, it's unlocked for free preview. If you click preview, you can preview the book and check it out for yourself. It's unlocked for the publishers so that the publishers can check it out to see if they want to give me a book deal or something like that. Everybody pray for me. Hopefully that'll go through. But right now, everything can be found on blurb.com, BLURB, blurb.com, under author name Duane Fletcher. Right now, let's talk about something that's in the news. Okay, there are Russian warships in Cuba right now. This is a story that's been coming up. A lot of people have been talking about this. This happened a lot over the years. There's been sightings of them also off the coast of Georgia, off the coast of Jamaica, Cuba, and in Venezuela and things like that. Apparently, they got beat real bad by somebody who doesn't even have a navy in Ukraine, and they want to flex their muscle over here and try and stir up some chaos and fear and things like that. Um, Another thing that they do basically is they do stuff like come in close to the coast and try and monitor your airwaves and stuff like that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they were here to watch the basketball game. Now, why I'm saying this, the reason why I'm saying this is because Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, it's alleged that his family is from Russia. Parts of his family, uh, here it is right here, immigrated from Russia. Ellis Island. You check this out for yourself. Like I said, I don't know if this is true, but it's on his Wikipedia page. And he changed his name from Kubinsky. He changed his name from Kubinsky to Cuban when they moved to America. But apparently his parents are Russian. Um, Immigrated from Russia through Ellis Island, and his grandparents were Romanian Jewish. They moved to Russia, then his parents moved to from Russia to United States, and but that's why I said it's on his Wikipedia page. It's the same guy that owns the Dallas Mavericks. Like I said, basically look this stuff up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. It may or may not be true, but it's a lot of people have said this over the years. And when I looked it up, that's what it said on his Wikipedia page. So, um, but they might be here to watch the game. You never know. Um, and which means they're going to come really close, probably to the coast of Texas, and not just be just in one place over there off the coast of Cuba. Because right now, I think the last story said that they were about 60 miles from the coast of Florida, and this is a really hot issue in Florida, stuff like this, because it's a lot of problems that's being launched from Florida. Like basically, let's see, January 6th riot. Okay, January 6th riot. There was a riot on January 6th. Let's see, January 6th riots. There were riots in D.C. on January 6th a couple of years ago, and it's because Trump lost the election. Where did that come from? That's basically a big lie that originated in Florida. And like I said, a lot of these plots are originating in Florida, and they're being launched from Florida. And cause confusion towards the rest of the country. January 6th, there was a riot. Where'd that come from? Florida. Okay. All right. What else we got here? Let's see. The Governor Ron DeSantis, wants to smuggle in tennis pro. Okay, let's look that up. DeSantis jokes he wants to smuggle this Serbian guy, this tennis pro, in from the Caribbean, and he jokes um, about talking about a book ban and that he wanted to smuggle this tennis player in. And if I don't know if y'all followed this story, but this was a complete disaster because they sided with him because he was unvaccinated. He was one of the people that don't like to take vaccines. However, when they got to New York to play the New York Open, everybody got sick. For some strange reason, everybody got sick in New York, and the guy won. And that's what the complaint was that was about him. So this was a complete disaster. And this is something that originated where? In Florida. And not only that, but they've in Florida they've trained 9/11 terrorists twice. Okay, in Florida, let's see. Now, let's look that up. Okay, let's look that up. Now, apparently, uh, Palm Beach County, I believe it was, there were some of those 9/11 terrorists. They said that they were trained in Florida. Now, this happened twice in Florida, but a lot of people don't know it because there's a second group of them apparently went crazy at the military base in Pensacola. Let's see, Pensacola terror. Let's look that up. They had another group of them that they were training, and this was 2019. Uh, Air Station Pensacola. There was another group of them that went crazy and started shooting up the military base, and they were there to be trained how to fly and stuff like that. Now, a lot of this stuff is launched from Florida towards the rest of the country. And this is one of the reasons why I said that NATO needs to be involved, that NATO needs to, or the United Nations needs to come to Florida to investigate some of this stuff because the police here, and it's not just the police, it's some of the military people too that side with DeSantis. You know, everybody knows DeSantis is big time ex-military, but it's not just the police. It's some of them is ex-military people, and they side with DeSantis, and they don't investigate this stuff correctly. And what they do is they lie. They follow around the wrong person on purpose, and things like that. While these plots are being put together, they follow around the wrong person on purpose, and things like that. I'll give you a good example. Right now, there's Russian warships off the coast of Florida. Let's go back to that story. Okay, let's go back to that story. Russian warships arrive in Cuba. Okay. Right now, what are the Russians doing? Is anybody watching the Russians? Sometimes they become emboldened when they do the things like this. There was some rumors out there. Every time Bernie Sanders gave I think it's Senator Bernie Sanders. Every time he gave a speech, the Russian warships pull up because they want to support him and stuff like that. But as you can see, like I was saying, a lot of stuff is being launched from Florida. But right now, what are these intelligence network people and law enforcement people doing in Florida right now? There's Russian warships 60 miles off the coast, and I can guarantee you they're not watching the Russians. That's basically what they do here in Florida. That's why different people have butted heads with some of the politicians in Florida about them turning a blind eye to this. Like another good example that we got Russian oligarchs living in Florida. Let's see that they're not enforcing the sanctions on. Well, I think there's about three. I think there's about three. There's like two in Miami, and I know there's one in Ponte Vedra. Well, let's see. But they don't pay attention to these guys, and they watch other people instead purposely. As a matter of fact, I think that there was an FBI agent that was recently arrested for doing that. There was recently an FBI agent that was recently arrested for doing that. But like I said, that's why NATO needs to come to Florida, NATO or the United Nations to investigate some of this stuff for themselves because law enforcement here and some of the military people here, they allow these plots to take place and they launch this confusion at the rest of the country. Good example, like I said, January 6th riots, where'd that come from? Florida. Um, Smuggled a tennis pro in and then everybody got sick at the New York Open tennis match. Where'd that come from? Florida. 9/11 terrorists were trained in where? Florida. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of these plots that come from Florida, and that's why I said that NATO or the United Nations needs to come to Florida with their own investigators to investigate some of this stuff. Okay, now that being said, let's go to another story here. Let's go to another story. Let's see. Okay, this the guy, the lead singer from the Four Tops, Alexander Morris, I believe his name is, the lead singer from the Four Tops, basically just got thrown into a mental ward. Okay, and it's because nobody in the hospital believed who he was. No one believed who he was, and they said that he was lying, and the security guard told him to sit his black ass down when he tried to show him his ID. And what's sad about this is that I couldn't believe that no one inside this hospital had uh, a simple iPhone, and they could have Googled it and looked it up and see if this was him. But they threw him in a mental ward because they didn't believe who he was. But this is the guy from the Four Tops. His name is Alexander Morris. And now he's filing a lawsuit, of course, against the hospital. Ascension, I think Ascension is the hospital that did this to him. Well, basically, now they owe this guy a bunch of money, so that's going to go well with his retirement because he's been retired for years. They've been trying to get him to go out on tour, but he won't. And now they owe him some money before this lawsuit that he's coming out with. There's no denying it. That's who he is. They didn't believe who he was. They threw him in the mental ward, and now he filed a lawsuit. But that's just show you how they some people treat people as like ridiculous that happened to him. Um, but now they got to pay him. So hopefully people can do better than treating each other like that. And I got one more story for you today. Novak Djokovic, the tennis pro, um, they're saying that he had to pull out of the French Open with a knee injury. He says the surgery went well. He had to pull out of the French Open recently with a knee injury. His surgery went well, but they're saying that he's not gonna. He's now possibly going to miss Wimbledon too, and he had to just vacate his number one status. He had to vacate his number one status, and now he's not number one tennis player anymore. But he's going to. He just pulled. He got all the way to the quarterfinals, and then he had two really tough matches. One that lasted till 3 a.m. in the morning. Um, then he had another tough match that lasted a long time, and after that, he said he was done. So he's not. He pulled out of the French Open a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago, and now he's going. They're saying that he might possibly miss Wimbledon too, and that's all I had to say today. So if you get a chance to check out the free preview of my new book, The Black Hand Act Two by Duane Fletcher. It's a really good book. And that's the rundown for today. Everything can be found on blurb.com. All right. Thank you so much. And Fletcher Community Media is out.